when Black Lives Matter first came out, I knew they were a fraud organization, and I called them frauds. And the reason I knew it was very, very positive of it. A couple things. One, I looked at their website, and they were very, very clear about who they were. They were very clearly an alphabet activist group. It had nothing to do with black people, unless you fit within their alphabet group. Then they're all for you. Their website clearly stated that they were against heterosexual norms. It clearly stated that they were about women raising kids. It clearly said that they were a trans promoting organization. Nothing wrong with any of that. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. The problem is they were using dead black males as their catalyst for this movement. Being against hetero norms and being against patriarchy, again, nothing wrong with believing that, but when you're using dead black males, I have a problem with it. Because to me, it sounds like you're saying, well, this is what black men are good for. That's what I get from that. Black men are good for promoting the alphabet mafia. I don't care about anybody in that movement. I have a problem, again, using black males for that. Both parts of that. Why do they have to be black for you to use them as your catalyst to your movement? Because you're against them, clearly. You don't even want them in the household. It said it on your website. You don't want the black father. So you'll use the black man to get ahead. And that's what I feel this it's not L, G, or B. It's the T that has hijacked the civil rights movement. I've never had a problem with anybody doing whatever they want in their home. It's not my thing. Couldn't care less. I don't like changing definitions. That's always been a problem for me. And as you can see, since day one, that's what this has all been about. No such thing as a man, no such thing as a woman. But they're still anti-man. They say they're pro-woman, but then they want biological men to take over the realm that women earned, whether it be through sports, whether it be through the workplace, whether it be through your own bathrooms. Why is it okay for a man to step into a woman's bathroom? Cool. You can believe what you want. This is my opinion, and I believe I fall in line with most black people when I say we're not cool with that stuff. We're not. We've just been convinced that that's part of our movement now, so we're defending stuff that we don't agree with. And if you talk to a black person in private, most of them will tell you, yeah, I'm not with all that stuff. When MMA fighter Fallon Fox first, it's like 2013, 2014. This is how far back I'm like, oh, this is not good. When he joined MMA and started fighting women, I had a problem with it. Joe Rogan got a lot of pushback. Man, they hated him for it. But he stated the obvious. And the obvious was this guy should not be fighting against women. This is not good. This is anti-woman. This is not women's rights. This has nothing to do with women. It's a man. That's when I noticed that they were going to start pushing this kind of stuff, and it was going to infect every aspect of life. And I use the word infect because that's exactly what it is. It's an infiltration. It has nothing to do with day-to-day things that people are doing. This has to do with forcing their way in, as a virus would do, the body, and take over and live off of that. And that's what they're doing. Black Lives Matter came in slightly after that. And I think that's where they determined money was going to be able to be made. So you had a group of this community start a movement called Black Lives Matter. I think it was 2016-ish. And they openly said, hey, we don't like the nuclear family. We don't like men being the head of the household. And we're about community raising kids, not families raising kids. We want the woman to raise the kids. No problem, again, with your opinion. The problem is the piggybacking, the hijacking of our civil rights movement. That's where my problems started with them. And it's just what it is. It's what it is. Then later in, the violence started and people were excusing violence, and it's like, okay. I can't remember the young man's name. Mike Brown is what kicked off their fame. He's not what kicked them off, but that's what kicked off their fame, and they started making people say Black Lives Matter as if the assumption is that they don't. A guy named Shaun King started rising in popularity. And might as well say fame, because he's famous. Everybody knows him for right reasons or for wrong reasons. When I saw black people were able to allow a white man to lead us in that way, I don't mind having leaders, but when a white man is literally using racial appropriation, not even cultural, racial, that's a problem. Because he's white. His parents are white, so his way out of answering to that was, well, yeah, but my mom at some point slept with a black man. So my father's not really my father, even though I look just like my father. Mom never came out and corroborated that BS story. Father and brothers just stayed silent. I assume they just get paid, because that's how he earned money. It's just lying and fanning the flames of black people. 100% manipulation. This dude is as evil as it gets, because he's getting paid. He's a white man getting paid to anger black people in the name of black people. All right, now. Careful. Everything he does is to demean white people, which he can do. He's white. And inflame black people, which again he can do. They're listening. That doesn't mean I have to like it. I don't like manipulators. I don't like scumbags, and I don't like liars, and I definitely don't like leeches, and he's all of those. And he blocked me way back in the day on Twitter. Although I saw a post of his that somebody had retweeted, so maybe he unblocked me since I simply asked him who his parents were, or if he could provide pictures of his parents way back in the day. Once we started aligning him with Patrisse Cullors and the LGBTQ CIA people, I was like, oh, okay, so they've merged. They have something in common that they're trying to convey. And they did. Oh boy, did they. Every time a black person got killed, they would use that as proof that America is racist. Then I'm like, well, why does this have to be an American thing? Why can't this just be against corrupt cops? It seems like that was the original route that they were going to take, and then they saw that there was more money in just outright being anti-American. And then when you scroll through their website, you see that, oh, okay, they're admitted Marxists. They actually studied Marxism. So they were doing the proper progressions of divisiveness. And Patrisse Cullors knew exactly what she was doing because she actually studied it. That was her thing. Like when you study something, pretty sure you understand it after you graduate out of college. That's what she did. That's what she does. Fast forward to now, where people have donated $90 million to this organization, but the organization doesn't give any money to anybody else. They give 100 or 200 grand to some people that they exploited. Essentially, it's hush money. That's how I see it. I don't know why else they would do it, because they don't care about the people. They definitely don't care about the dead black dude or girl. Say her name. Remember Breonna Taylor? They like using the bodies for money. They like fanning the flames of race. But no one's asked what they were going to do with the money once they donated to this cause. Companies donated millions. The people donated millions. And there has been zero auditing of where that money went. Patrisse Cullors has bought mansions and admitted that she lied about using property that she said that was supposed to be for meetings and whatever, $6 million property. That's just for meetings and I don't know what it was supposed to be for. It wasn't used for that though. It was used for parties, inauguration parties, and personal stuff. This woman has paid her family members hundreds of thousands of dollars. Several of them. Why is the government not looking? Is the government really that scared of these people that they'll allow money laundering and outright fraud? I'm trying to understand why no one's looked into this. I saw Patrisse Cullors like a week or two ago crying, bawling. No tears, but she was crying. Candace Owens came to my house. You guys, I'm trying to protect my family. The family that she's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars and doesn't want anyone to know about. That's what she's trying to protect them from. Her fraud. And going to prison. Because they should, all of them should. Accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars knowing you didn't do the work to get paid that is outright fraud. You knew that money wasn't legal. Because you lied and said you did a service to get that money. And if you didn't, where do you think the hundreds of thousands of dollars came from? She doesn't work? Where do you think your sister Patrisse or your baby mama Patrisse got the money from? So accepting a drug dealer's money, if your family's a drug dealer, doesn't let you off the hook because I didn't sell the drugs. Hey, I don't know. She just gave me money. You have a responsibility to find out where it came from. These people have bought properties up in Canada, millions of dollars. They bought properties all over this country. A couple of them now have been hit with fraud charges. One got charged with sex trafficking. Apparently he was a pimp. While saying Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. He was pimping black girls. And I don't want to say underage because I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Allegedly, some of them were underage. Doesn't matter. This is the people who are leading our cause. Not mine, sorry. Leading the fake cause that supposedly was about black lives. while enhancing their black lives and exploiting other black lives. But that's what it was. I just need to know when there's going to be an actual investigation. I remember way back in the day, my sister came to live with me, and she allowed me to claim one of her kids because she didn't pay me rent or anything, and it was a decent amount of time. So I claimed the kid. IRS came after me because it wasn't my kid, even though I was head of household, and they just stayed with me. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was 100% legitimate. IRS came after me. I had to pay back the refund that I had got. And that was $1,500 maybe. Definitely wasn't $90 million. What is our U.S. government doing? Sometimes money is important. At this time, I was making maybe $15 an hour, $20 an hour. They came after that $1,500. But you can take $90 million, you can just give people hundreds of thousands of dollars, close to $1 million, $500,000, $750,000. You just give that money away and nobody questions it. There's no way to file that. The guy went from working at Academy Sports to now having $750,000, and no one questions that. Candace Owens went to that woman's house and she lied, blatantly lied. The footage came out that she was lying, blatantly lying, and the people hate Candace Owens for telling the truth so much that they still took Patrisse Cullors' side. She came and she harassed me and she demanded that I come outside. Didn't happen. In fact, Candace Owens was 8 months pregnant and politely talking to a white security guard. And then Patrisse called the white police that she so hates and wants to defund. What are we doing here? It's like Bizarro World. That's what I get out of all this. My shirt says Black Lawyers Matter. That's what I'm interested in. Educating our people and getting out of that stuff. Out of that mindset. Out of this fake fear. To where we pretend that police are hunting us down. But at the same time, we know we can't just go driving through Inglewood. We know that. And it ain't because we're trying to avoid police in Inglewood. We know that. So there's this pretend facade going on, this weird alternate reality where we just lie and say that this is what we're scared of. And when we get pulled over and the cop is nervous, instead of saying, man, I can't believe that we're in a place right now where we can't trust police and police can't trust us because of violence, we immediately just say we can't trust police because they're violent, ignoring the reason that racist cops are allowed to go in there and use our behaviors as a means to be racist. Because there are racist police out there. But anyone who tells you that the police are racist, they're just lying to you. Because there's racist police, there's racist basketball players, there's racist white baseball players, there's racist store managers at Jewel Osco or store managers at Kroger or Dollar Store. There's racist everything. But if you try to tell somebody that, you know, managers who work at Big Lots are racist, come on, everyone's gonna say, where'd that come from? Well, they trespass the most black people than anybody, and they're always having us arrested. And I seen some get into a fight. And that may have happened anecdotally, but that doesn't mean that Big Lots managers are racist. Like, come on, what are you doing? Who falls for that stuff? Apparently us. Apparently we do. Well, police interactions with us are typically because they're in our neighborhoods more. That doesn't mean I like it. That doesn't mean I like when I see people getting roughed up or abused or shot or any of that. But I like less the fact that they have to be there. That's what I really don't like. So if a club's always having issues and they have to hire more security, I'm not angry that the security is there and the security are jerks. I'm angry that there has to be 15 guards at the door and metal detectors. They didn't just come out of nowhere. That is a reaction to an action or several actions. And it's not good for anybody. Nobody wins. Because while there are racist police officers out there, and you can say that there are, everybody knows there are, the fact that they're able to get away with what they're doing because our behaviors are so out of control that this many are needed to be in our neighborhoods, that's our problem. That's something we're supposed to fix. You don't like police? Make sure they don't have to be there. Don't defund them and get rid of them while we need them. Don't call the black ones coons. Don't call Hispanic, American, Mexican Border Patrol sellouts or racist against their own people. Like, that doesn't make sense because it's not true. They're doing their job. And the job is required because of our behaviors. Having more Border Patrol agents is required because there's more people coming across. You see how that causes the need for these people to be there? Everybody would love to be represented or have their police represented by people who look like them. But we don't treat them any other way. We actually see them as worse. Because you're still stuck in the us against them mentality. So you'll treat a black officer worse. But that's who you want, that's who you say you want representing police in your neighborhood. It's all a circular game. This goes back to the last video. Nobody wants solutions. They just want to talk. And they want to complain. And they want to make excuses for their behaviors. But that doesn't allow for solutions. And relying on racist leaders like Black Lives Matter or Shaun King, relying on them doesn't help us. It makes the problem worse because they get paid to make sure the problem stays around, because that's the only way they're relevant. And back to the last video, they will ignore every issue that we have. Everyone. so that they can keep that power that they have. And when you get so powerful to the point where the IRS won't touch you, you've done good for yourself. But you've also committed fraud to the level of, I don't know anyone ever has. $90 million fraud. Can't account for the money. Don't account for the money. How much did Bernie Madoff steal? Was it that much? I don't remember. A few years back. And they called it a scam, Ponzi scheme. I wonder if it was more than $90 million. That'd be worth looking into.